Tennessee versus the ACC. We'll go since 2021 because that's when Josh Heupel became the head coach of Tennessee. Simply put, Tennessee versus the ACC, since Josh Heupel has taken over, they have handled their business. They have been a bowl team every season. They have won 9+ games the past 3 years, and they have a 4-1 record versus the ACC, and it has progressively gotten worse for the ACC. In 2024, Tennessee played a ranked ACC opponent early in the season. It was NC State. Remember that game? Yeah, Tennessee won that one 51-10. It was not close. It was not a fair fight. The game was over by halftime. Tennessee outgained NC State by over 300 total yards. So we talk about strong quarterback play and limiting turnovers to try to pull off an upset here. NC State didn't quite do that, did they? I'm sorry to Grayson Boone and Kenton Gibbs, but they know it. It was a really bad game. 2023, Tennessee played Virginia early in the season, and Tennessee won that game only 49-13. Only 36 points. Okay. So 5 points worse than the previous season, I guess. And they only nearly outgained Virginia by 300 yards. Obviously, I'm being very sarcastic. Tennessee blew out Virginia in that one. It was not a fair fight. The game was over by halftime. 2022, they played Clemson in the Orange Bowl. I'm not going to take too much stock in what happens in a bowl game because it's a new era of bowl games where a lot of players just simply sit out. A lot of coaches will play different players than they usually do to try to get a glimpse into the following season. Of course, now players are starting to enter the transfer portal before bowl games even happen. It actually happened with Syracuse last year against Washington State, where Washington State was basically fielding their second team on the field instead of their first team for that game. But regardless, Tennessee did quite well. Whatever the circumstances were, Tennessee beat Clemson 31-14. Again, it's hard to try to draw any conclusions from that, but Tennessee handled its business regardless of who was on the field, regardless of who was coaching. Tennessee did an amazing job in that one. 2022 is where it gets interesting. They went on the road at number 17 Pitt. Tennessee won that game, but they only won in overtime, 34-27. Pitt nearly pulled it out. Izzy Abanikanda, remember the running back? He got drafted by the New York Jets. He ran for over 150 yards. Pitt was a good team that season. They went 8-4 in the regular season. In 2021, this is where Tennessee actually lost to the ACC against the Pitt Panthers. Tennessee lost 41-34 at home. Kenny Pickett led that Pitt team to an ACC title when the season was over. So going through the recent past of Tennessee versus the ACC under head coach Josh Heupel, the main conclusion is that Tennessee has dominated the ACC. There were really only 2 cases in which they were threatened by an ACC team or they actually outright lost to an ACC team. And that ACC team just happens to be Pitt. Pitt in back-to-back years, 2021 and in 2022. And Tennessee in 2021, that was their worst season under Josh Heupel, which it was Josh Heupel's first year. It makes total sense. And that Tennessee team was still a bowl team. So if Syracuse were to beat Tennessee in week 1, judging by the past of Tennessee and how they've handled the ACC and their strong records year in and year out, I think we would learn more about how good Syracuse is and less so about how bad Tennessee is. I could be totally wrong, but that's my read based on what has happened in the past with head coach Josh Heupel over at Tennessee.